Hello and welcome back to the podcast. Let's Run Facebook Ads podcast with myself, Nick Boddington. Today, I want to talk to you guys about leads. Leads is a massive thing in the Facebook world at the moment. Most of my advertisers want to get more and more leads, as if they're not e-commerce. And there's always talk about how we can improve our Facebook leads. Improving our Facebook leads for what reasons? Well, the reasons that people get annoyed with Facebook leads is there's too many bots, it's not the right demographic, it's not the right age group, the location's wrong, they're too far out, they can't afford my product. These are things that if you run Facebook leads yourself, you know that these are some of the problems that you come across. So how do we fix this? Well, I want to go over a number of things which are going to help determine you getting better quality leads, whether it's an instant form or whether it's a Facebook website form. This podcast isn't like the last one where I'm talking about what's better versus. This is about whichever one you're going to use, what do you need to pay attention to? Copy and creative are by far number one on this list of things to pay attention to. This helps you really target. So if you listen to a couple of podcasts ago where I'm talking about creative, the targeting in Meta is diminishing, okay? We can still do things, but in so many different ad accounts that I have access to, there are things changing on more. I have to actually think a little bit every time I go into different accounts because something's changed a little bit. But so the audience is diminishing. So if the audience is diminishing, then we have to talk to our audience in the right way, okay? And what I mean by that is we need to talk to who we want to become a lead. Are they qualified enough? Are they the right demographic? Can they afford it? And you, believe it or not, you can do this in your copy and creative. So if you're trying to sell a product that's $1,000 or £1,000 and you're finding that everyone coming in can't afford that product, then maybe put the price of your product in the ad, okay? Or another one that works where a client of mine sells a $1,000 product, but he gets people in for the right price, and we have tested this in various ways, is he puts a $100 off offer. So his offer is $100 off. Now, logically, there is assumption here, but if someone sees $100 off, it's not going to be off a $150 product. It's going to be off a product that's more expensive. So immediately, you're getting rid of the people who are only going to spend, or the tire kickers, so to speak. If you find that the age is people are too old or too young, let's say they're too young, okay? If you're selling a product which is age defined to the older generation, then have a picture of the older generation in your ad or your video. That way, the younger generation aren't going to click it because it's not attracting them in. So these are the little things that you need to think about when creating your creative from an image or video point of view, is who you're talking to, and more importantly, who do you want to come in. So the days of being able to go, and it's something else I'll get to on my other podcast coming, is when we're talking about age, is like we need to leave this open more and more. So Meta is saying to us, and as advertisers and experts like ourselves, we're saying keep things open. If you don't need to go 23 to 55, just keep it open, unless you come across other problems where most of your budget's being spent to the wrong demographic. But that's usually coming into the way you're building the ads. So the copy, who we're talking to and who we want to click through, the age, the location, move the location tighter. But also there is a setting in your ads manager which says people who visited or live in that location. So you might find that someone saw the ad whilst they're in a particular location, but they live 50 miles south of there. Unfortunately, we can't tick that off anymore. So that's something to come into fruition, okay? And then we discussed your offer. So your offer is number 2. I've already kind of done that. Make it your offer viable for the people you're wanting to come through. As I said, if they're coming through too cheap and you're finding no one can afford it, make the offer about the price higher of the offer, okay? So it's 50% discount, was 2,000, now 1,000, whatever it might be. Try different things. Try a little lozenge or a star or a discount on the actual offer or the video to help bring in the right people. Demographics, as I've said, we want to look at people who are in the right demographic, okay? So if you're only going between ages between 20 and 50, then you could change your age to be 20 and 50. But like I just mentioned, the algorithm is kind of working against us a little bit to do this. So you could then put in your copy, are you to age between 20 and 50? If so, this product is for you. So talk to them, bring them out, okay? So the one thing you could find, which is something that I have found in other ad accounts when running campaigns, is that when I have kept it open, I found that a lot of my, because I've optimized for the most amount of leads, Facebook is actually getting most of my leads from the higher age group demographic, because on that particular campaign they were coming through cheaper. So then I've had to lower it down to 50 because I didn't want plus 50s coming in. Okay, location, we've just discussed that. And then we've got question volume. So on your lead form, it comes down to whether you're using an instant form or whether you're doing an instant form on Facebook, or whether you're doing a landing page on your website. Ask questions. So ask particular questions that's going to start bringing out the right demographic. So if you start asking them questions about how they're living their life, what their foods whatever it might be that constitutes them filling in your form, you can then drop in certain things that are going to help the quality of that. Now, you're going to help the quality by knocking out people who aren't right, but also you're going to find out more and more about people. And there's a reason why that's good. If you're just asking for someone for their name and email, it's really simple for someone to come through and fill that form in. If you're asking for other types of questions, and whether that's 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 questions on top of that, you're going to find out more. You're going to make someone more qualified to come through. Does that make sense? So if someone's going to take the time to read your question and answer it, whether it's a drop down, multiple choice, or actually a free text form, that person having to spend more time. So if it's what's called a higher intent. And on an instant form, it actually asks you actually can choose the option of higher intent or rich creative, which means you can ask more things, which gets a higher intent lead coming through. You are going to lose some because some people can't be bothered, but then that's the ones who aren't the higher intent. So you could look at those questions, the volume of questions, and then you've got the question quality. So it's a type of question. So you've got the volume of questions you might ask. So first name, last name, email, telephone number, location, and then some other things to do with your little survey. Or then you can go into the question quality of what you're going to ask during that survey to get more out of someone as well. Two things it's going to do here. It's going to help with the quality of the leads that are coming through, but it's also going to give you more knowledge when you go back to someone and make that lead better and close hopefully quicker because you know more about them. So we want to look at those sort of things. Then we want to look at the confirmation page. Now, confirmation page is obviously something that after you've taken lead. So we're hoping that we've qualified our lead better and got better quality coming through. Now, the confirmation page, which is essentially their thank you page, is to keep this person hot. Now, if they've qualified and they've become a lead, that's the hottest that they can be, right? So let's stay on that warmth. Let's get them to do more things. If you want them to get, like for mine, if when someone books a call with me, I need them to add that link to the Zoom link to their calendar. Now I find some people go onto my calls and they haven't turned up to the call, and I've texted them and say, are you still wanting the call? And they say I didn't get the link. And that's probably because I wasn't at the time informing them of what to do on the confirmation page, which now I do because I learned from the exercise. So now they'll go to the confirmation page, they'll see the confirmation page, and it will say to them, and I haven't read writing, more alarming, you will receive an email from me now with a calendar link. Please add this link to your calendar, because I want them to, it's important, they've just spent, it's cost me money, my leads come through at an average of 20, 30 pounds a lead. So that's how much it's costing me to get a lead. If that person doesn't show up because they haven't added to the calendar, even though it's a qualified lead, people just get busy in their lives, they forget. So I want them to qualify even further by adding our date, our call, to their calendar. So I send them an email afterwards. It might be that you want to do a sales page afterwards. It might be you want to do some interaction, but you can keep that hot lead even hotter and qualify them even more by using your confirmation page at the back end. Okay, then you've got post-submission outreach. So this is where you might have a sales team or you're yourself actually go out and actually contact this person, okay? So to make sure that that's better, you need to ask for better qualified leads, which is going to help there, and get in touch with this person as soon as possible. So what I do on a lot of mine is I have someone, even though they're being asked to add it to calendar, I even then get someone to call up prior to their call to make sure that they're going to be attending it, because that's going to help qualify the lead in more. It's going to get that person ready and even warmer for my call. They know it's coming. They're going to come excited about what we're going to learn. Website optimization. You need to optimize for the right thing. So if we're optimizing for leads here, we need to make sure that when we're going into our conversions or setting up the ad, that we choose lead. Now, the simple mistake is here that people can choose lead optimization, and then when they go to the ad set page, they're able to then choose what they want to optimize for. And it allows them to change the conversion event. Now it automatically on default goes to lead. You don't want to go there and then change landing page views or purchases and things like that, because you're going to change the whole objective of what you're trying to do. And this is a simple mistake where I've seen people come to me and say, I've set this up correctly. I'm looking at it on the first part when I'm going to the campaign page. I'm like, yeah, they have. They've optimized for leads. Why aren't they getting any leads? And I start looking at some of the other metrics first and thinking, and it's when I start seeing their link clicks are so cheap that I'm thinking, hold on a minute, they actually optimize for traffic or landing page views, because usually a lead campaign isn't as cheap as what you might see in these accounts. Okay, so then we want to look at some new features that if we're using an instant form, Facebook has now brought forward to try and help this lead quality up. Now the first one is an SMS verification. Now I've tried this a couple of times, but I'm finding that unless you're getting cheap leads, it can make the leads a lot more expensive or not get any at all. So some of my clients who might be used to spending 30 to 50 pounds or dollars a day on leads, and they're getting some leads through, if I then put this in, it can shoot their lead cost up so much, because a lot of people still don't do this. And what this SMS verification means is that the prospect has seen your ad, they open up your instant form, they start filling in your instant form, they complete it, and then SMS sends them a text message. Their next page is that they need to put in a code. You know, so when we always have to do this with our two-factor authentication. It's like two-factor authentication for you to get in and get a code sent to your phone, and then you tap it into to Facebook or whatever website you're using. The same thing here happens to the prospect. So Facebook is going, great, thank you for your lead. Just want to make sure that you're qualified and you're actually human and not a bot. I'm going to send you a text message, and you can't complete this lead until you've put that number in. So there are a number of people who are going to ignore that and go, I can't be bothered, because there's so much on a whim. That's what you find with this lead gen. People do so much of this on a whim, which is why we're always trying to qualify our customers more. So that is one thing that Meta's trying to do. Turn off autofill. So in your lead instant forms now, we have the option to autofill or not. I would untick autofill, okay? This makes the person have to write in Nick Boddington, Nick at Let's Run Social, and my telephone number, which means the human, as we know it, has done that. Even if is a human, it's going to qualify them in even more, because we're basically getting rid of the lazy ones who can't even bother to fill in those marks. So make sure you're turning autofill off. Conditional logic. This is when you're using higher intent or rich creative on an instant form. This allows you to put qualifying questions in. So I think it only works on the first question. If someone comes in and says, starts the form out, and you say, let's say they're looking for a heat pump, how much budget do you have for your heat pump? And it's 0 to 5,000, 5 to 10, 10 to 20, 20 to 30. And your client has said to you, or you yourself, if you're doing it for yourself, has said, well, I can't sell to anyone unless they've got 10,000, then you can make A and B of those questions, disqualify that person, and they'll go to an end page which says, thank you for your time, but you don't qualify for our business services at this stage. Go to our website to learn more. But anyone who did C and D, which is the higher, allows them to continue filling out the form. Now, as far as I know, it is still only the first question that disqualifies people. So that's a really good one, and I do use this on other types. So then we've got the form types, which is more volume, you're going to get more crap. higher intent, which means you can do more qualifying questions, and rich creative. Now, rich creative enables you to make your landing page, well, your instant form, more like a landing page. So you can put some social proof in there, you can put some incentives in there, you can put some products in there, you can put how it works. So it takes them through a much more of a sort of structured landing page, so to speak, opposed to just asking some details on a form. And then lastly, chat with leads via Messenger. This is something I haven't tested, but I am actually thinking of testing this myself, which means after someone has filled in that lead form and then they are hot, like we said on the confirmation page, they're hot, you want to get as much out of them as possible, there is a tick box now. You can say chat with the lead over via Messenger. If that lead then goes yes, they can literally get a message will come through automatically. Your messenger will open with a notification saying Joe Bloggs wants to chat, and you can start chatting with that prospect. I don't know what you might want to talk about. If it was me, I'd be like, hey, can't wait to see you on our call, really excited. I might send them another few questions about what I want to know about them running Facebook ads, so I can make it more qualified and get more out of the call when we jump on. You can also plug in chatbots. So there are chatbots, I think ManyChat's one of them, where you can actually do questions and actually start off a conversation, and the chatbot will continue that conversation as if it was human. So those are, I think, 15 different things that I would look at to help qualify your leads. I hope that helps, and I'll see you on the next one.